What's up, everyone, and welcome to the fourth quarter with Siggy and JT Magnum. You know what the deal is already. If you haven't watched the show, it's a 10-minute timer, 4 topics, and we get all 4 topics done in another 10 minutes. And after that, we take your suggestions in the comment section and we use them for the next show. If you guys leave some, you haven't left any yet. Let's leave some for us. So let's get this timer rolling. All right, first
All right.
topic is chasing Chicago. Can the Miami Heat equal or better the Bulls' 72-10 record of 1996?
Now, after the first game, it looked like everybody, I noticed a lot of Heat fans were already starting to talk about that. And after the second game, though, against Philadelphia, it's like, nah, there's no way it can happen. I believe the Miami Heat team, as it stands currently, even with that loss, which was a pretty embarrassing loss, that taking consideration that was without Dwayne Wade, I think the Heat could challenge it. If they do what they did last year, have a long string of runs of wins, like 20 something in a row, like they did last year, then all of a sudden you look up and you realize, it's possible. So I'm not saying it's impossible, maybe improbable, but I wouldn't be surprised if they challenge it this year.
I'm going to go ahead and say negative. I don't think anybody will do that for a long time. There's a lot of things that factor into having a record of that type of magnitude. Injuries, just, you know, injuries can factor in along with just back then there might have been that much competition for the Bulls as well, but the Bulls were just a really good squad. I mean, you had Jordan, Pippen, Rodman. Not to take anything away from Bosh, Wade, and LeBron James, but it's just I don't see them doing that now with the likes of all these really good squads in the NBA this year. It seems like, especially there's a lot of balance. So
Yeah.
Indiana's good. Indiana's much improved. New York is a little bit improved. Chicago's going to be much more improved. Has Derrick Rose? I almost said Jalen Rose. Has Derrick Rose? Gets more into the system, and plus all the teams in the West. San Antonio, who almost beat the Miami Heat in the finals last year alone.
Yeah.
So I don't see them even coming close, honestly, to that record. I think they might still have 20 losses this year. So, not to take anything away from them, I still think they're the best team in the NBA. It's just that it's hard to get equal that kind of record.
No,
So,
that's true.
yeah,
Not many teams have even come close to challenging it. So,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those where just looking back at it, we got to live it. That's the funny thing. We
yeah.
didn't even appreciate it when it was happening.
All right, for topic number 2, we have a disrespectful spread. Florida State at Miami. Florida State, I believe, favored by what, 21?
There were 21 points to open up. I think now it's jumped up to 22, 23. And I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan. I was born in Miami, and I always grew up watching the U on football. On colleges anyways. Is always my schools are Miami. Professional, that was New York. But man, I cannot. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know famous Jameis and Florida State. They've been dominant. They went into a number 3 team, Clemson, and destroyed them by over 21 easily. And I know Miami's been struggling. I know that they have been, not putting up the offensive output that they had at the beginning of the season in college. But they're still undefeated, and they're still ranked 7. I think that they need to show some kind of respect. It's one thing to think it's going to happen. Like, everybody knew Alabama was going to destroy Notre Dame, but you don't go out and tell everybody that that's going to happen. You make it look like it's going to be competitive because it's the number 1 against the number 2 team. And this is a number 3 against a number 7. That Vegas should have had the decency to say, you know what, we're going to make it an 8-point spread, 9-point favorites, for FSU. Take that as it is. We should know Miami's going to get destroyed, but let it happen on the field, not tell everybody it's going to happen up front. Because I guarantee you next week they're not going to say Stanford, being the 5 seed with 1 loss is going to be a 21-point underdog against Oregon. I bet you anything they make that 7 or 8. Watch.
Well, for me, I saw the way Florida State destroyed Clemson, and I've seen the way Miami has played a little bit as well, and I think it's a bit of a mismatch. I know you're a Miami Hurricane fan, but I like the way Florida State's playing this year. I like their defense, and defense to me is key here. And I just see, I don't, I honestly think the spread is. I get what you're saying. Make it shorter to make people think it's going to be a better game. But I honestly think Florida State might blow them out. That's my prediction for this week. So
Oh,
I'm
I'm
gonna.
not saying that that's not going to happen, but
Yeah,
Vegas shouldn't be the one to dictate that, though. I mean,
yeah, I
unless
hear you.
they're, I mean, come on, look, all right, let's just put it in
Maybe they
some of the
want
schools'
people. They want
matchups.
people to bet on Miami.
Well, in history have shown history has shown that these two teams play tough against each other, even when they're bad.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what they're basing it on. They're just basing it on obviously the last few weeks of Miami and the last few weeks of Florida State, but you can't do that. I mean, LSU versus Alabama has a lot of history. LSU already has 2 losses. You think they're going to be 21-point underdogs to Alabama next week when they play each other? No,
yeah, of course
because
not.
there's a rivalry there. This is a rivalry. I don't know. I took it wrong. I hope Miami goes in there and destroys them now because of this.
All right, for topic number 3, no action at all in the NFL. The NFL trade deadline passes and not one move was made. What do you think?
I can't believe. I mean, obviously, there's not many. NFL really doesn't have big deals, big trades. Especially in the considering that playbooks and stuff like that. So it's a lot tougher than other sports like basketball and baseball, where you can just go to the next team and play as if nothing happened. But I'm surprised though that nobody went after Josh Gordon. Second round pick is what they're asking for, which to me is a bargain. I mean, if you go into the draft thinking that in the 50th pick you're going to get somebody of Josh Gordon's stature, you're wrong. I mean, I don't see any team. It's worth the risk for teams that need receivers. Seattle lost Sidney Rice. They should have took a flyer. San Francisco has a bunch of injuries to receiver, and they should have took a flyer. To me, this is somebody that can put your team over the top if you have a good quarterback and you need a receiver.
Yeah, I just it baffles my mind. I've been talking about the trade for the longest time for San Fran to trade for Josh Gordon. They need him. I think they could use them, and they could have signed him back for next year and still use them for next year as well, to pair up with Michael Crabtree and Quentin Patton, the young rookie, because obviously Manningham and Bolden might obviously go next year, but. I just didn't understand the whole concept of why they had two number 2 draft picks. Just should have drafted them. They should have drafted. They should have traded for them. I don't understand why any team didn't really make a move or didn't do much. I mean, the only one who was traded was Isaac Sapuaga, who was a former 49er. He got traded to the Patriots, who needed a defensive lineman, but he didn't do well at Philly, so they traded him. So I don't know. It's just a weird thing. But moving on to topic number 4, last topic. Is it a race issue? Des Bryant versus Tom Brady and their so-called sideline passion.
Yeah, Michael Irvin was the one that kind of put it out there that this could be a race thing, because when Tom Brady is caught on the sideline screaming, yelling at his teammates, everybody calls it, it's just the passion, the will to win. That's Tom Brady firing up his team. But then whenever you see Des Bryant do something like that, it's called thuggish. It's called he's being a bad player. He's selfish, and he's a cancer to the team. A lot of people use that term, cancer to the team. And I think there's some truth behind it. I mean, the audios came out, and he wasn't being selfish. He was talking about coverage and routes and stuff like that. It had nothing to do with him. And he was trying to talk to Witten about some of the route stuff. And it came out as that it was a selfish thing. So I don't know. I mean, Michael Irvin might be on to something here, because we know that whenever somebody does one thing on a certain way, I don't know. It's been pretty sensitive out there lately.
Yeah, this is a very sensitive topic, and I'm gonna have to agree a little bit with Irvin. I mean, I hate to talk about things like this because it's so picky the way you can pick and choose it, but the media perceives this is more of a media thing where the media tries to make it seem like, when you see Tom Brady doing something like that, he's the token, quote unquote white quarterback, and and he's the poster boy for America, good looking white boy, quarterback. Yeah. Where Des Bryant, he comes on the sideline and he happens to be African American, he's black, so they're gonna say automatically, because he said something, he's ghetto or he's a thug or whatever. When they don't really know Des Bryant behind the scenes, they don't know really how he grew up, they don't know anything about him, but immediately because of color, they assume that he's thuggish, and that to me is a stereotype right off the bat. Boom, stereotype. And that's the kind of thing that happens with racial profiling with cops. That's the kind of thing that happens every day with a lot of other things that go on in society today that people just don't generally talk about or you don't hear about because people think they just don't go on. But This is what I think is this kind of just slipped out that way, and it just so happens that Brady did the same thing. So now they're comparing the two, and I think Des Bryant is not wrong for doing that. I mean, he has passion. So does Brady. They're saying what they say in the sidelines, and it shouldn't be, it just shouldn't be that Des Bryant gets called out for it. If you're going to call out him, call out everybody that does it. So, but
Exactly.
that's going to be it for the show, pretty much, as the timer is winding down. We want to thank you for watching, and please leave any topics that you want us to discuss in the comment section. We know you're watching. We know you like the show. We just don't know what you guys want to hear about, unless you just like the topics that we come up with, because it seems like maybe that's what you guys like. So
There you go.
we're gonna leave you with that. For Siggy and JT Magnum, fourth quarter, we out. Peace.